corner to break.
A long way to come for the British players, but it will all have been worth it for Higgins if he can put one more good frame together.
One.
It was a great pot as far as where the cue ball is. He's been a bit unlucky.
This feels like a big shot, doesn't it, with the rest? Could lead to great things.
Yeah, you called it, Dave. I mean, he isn't up there with Kyron Wilson or Sean Murphy with the rest. You know, he's okay with it, but that was not close. And I think the ready pot is quite unlucky to finish there, wasn't he, with that shot, because he must have nudged the other red and finished around by the blue. You want to get this match over with quickly. I know that's obvious, really, but he just doesn't want any comebacks or anything that could take this too deep, this match. And he knows O'Connor will not give up. He's that sort of character.
One. Three. Four.
Key shot will be getting from his colour to a red, which can enable him to be on the black. The couple of reds above the black look on. Certainly to the right corner anyway. So the cue ball would have to be on the left side of the table from this shot. And that looks to be en route. Is it hard enough? No. Good line, but just a little short of pace there. He's looking at the two-ball plant, the two reds at the top, which are wide apart. That might be the way to go if the break's going to keep going. And, well, he's good at plants, but this one, you know, it's not easy by any means. And these reds are far enough apart. They're not in line. This is a really missable shot. played it well, but also quite cleverly, I would say, because he could hardly leave anything had he missed it, and the pink to middle was always going to be there.
$14.
Well, we've seen before now that
15.
in this position, a frame from defeat, he can sort of clear the mind. We saw Wu Yize, a different sort of player, certainly, but we saw the way he came back against Neil Robertson in that English Open final, from 8-2 to 8-7.
Yeah, very true. I think in the case of Joe O'Connor, he's never going to sort of breathe through all those frames quickly, and the way that Wu Yize came back, it was almost like it happened so quickly
22.
that Neil Robertson didn't know what hit him. But it'd take Joe a while. He's very methodical, very careful, and he's really good in amongst them.
23.
Yeah, he's certainly enhanced his reputation this week. Whether he turns this round, we'll see, but the scalps he's taken, the way he's conducted himself, I think has impressed a lot of people. But if he does lose the final, we won't see him again until the World Championship qualifiers. Of course, we can say now, Neil, the World Championship is next month. Now we're into March.
We certainly can, and the build-up is on. There's plenty of snooker before then, including, of course, the World Grand Prix next Tuesday morning, which I'm really looking forward to. It's going to be a great event. Joe O'Connor would need to win all of these frames to be in it, which is a bit of a pity he's not, actually, but all of the top players there. RonnieO'Sullivan is scheduled to play. He's given some indication that he will be.
$31.
Yeah, of course, Joe can't get in the World Grand Prix. He can get in the Players' Championship by winning this match. The lineup is complete for the event next week. But it's going to be a terrific event. All the players coming into it with different form lines. Of course, John Higgins will be there. Goodness. If he could win this, his confidence would be sky high. Anyway, he's not won yet. Needs an angle on his next colour, I think, to get the reds open.
$9.
It's going to be the pink to middle, and then these half a dozen reds brought into play.
Well, he's not gone to plan this.
45.
But he's got a 44-point lead. He's got a red on a cushion.
Yeah, and I think he's deliberating, trying to take that red off the cushion and double it, isn't he? Sometimes that's the problem, isn't it? You've got a ball that's safe and you're frightened to do anything with it. But if you're going to keep the break going, he's going to have to double it to right middle, I suppose. I think that's what he's playing, Dave.
Well, he's got this 8-ball pull background, hasn't he? He's a good doubler.
It's the worst scenario, but he's actually got away with it. When the ball comes back towards the cue ball and hit the top jaw on these, you have no idea where they're going to end up.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to make something happen. At 9-4 down, you can understand that. But anyway, he's back in his seat.
Yeah, John wouldn't have given up this frame. He would really have dearly loved to get that cue ball either in behind the green or covering the main bunch of reds and leaving that right red exposed. He didn't really get Joe in so much trouble as he could have done there.
Well, you were talking, Neil, about the World Grand Prix, and just been informed that Ronnie O'Sullivan has actually withdrawn. So it's another tournament he won't be in.
Oh dear. Well, that's. I'm sorry to hear that, because I did see something very recently that he was going to play, but unfortunately not. Goodness me, that is, the balls have gone in all different directions there. I mean, that was a giant double kiss scenario. And has he got away with it? It was a pretty ugly shot in the end, only because of the double kiss.
Yeah, just to clarify, Ronnie O'Sullivan, we've been told, has withdrawn from the World Grand Prix for medical reasons. So Sijal, we will play Hossein Vafai, who's next on the one-year list. So sadly, we won't see Ronnie next week. Anyway, this final continues with Higgins 44 behind, but he put together two good frames, looking to get in again, and he is in. So a chance for John Higgins.
One.
Indeed, what a chance.
The mental fortitude you need to keep on putting yourself through it. You know, Higgins could have walked off into the sunset, couldn't he? A year or two back as an all-time great, but still had the belief, was prepared to put up with disappointment, and there's been plenty of that, plenty of low moments. I guess if he can close this out, he'll feel it was worth it, worth the effort. It's a shame his family aren't here. Obviously, it's a long trek to Yushan, but I'm sure they're all watching, biting fingernails. So proud of him for the way, as I say, he has kept on turning up and being prepared to put up with that disappointment for nights like this.
9. Sixteen. Seventeen.
Well, he's a little straighter on this than he would like to be. The four reds, they look very appealing, don't they? But actually, I'm not sure quite where the next red comes from, because unless there's a plant that he can make, there's a couple of reds that go up into the green pocket. I don't know if he can nudge them. He's got only a slight angle. I feel like things should be a little easier from black to red here than it seems to be. So I think the safest option is have a clear shot down the table, but he didn't want to have this angle. He wanted to be straight on the red.
24.
And now the plant to middle. This is more difficult. Well, that was miles away, wasn't it? It really was.
Higgins,
He had to hit it
24.
sort of thinner than the potting angle, but of course in trying to hold for the black, he was sort of compelled to misjudge it in the way he did. From the black, he didn't leave himself a very nice shot with that plant.
So O'Connor back in, 21 to the good. His problem, of course, at this stage is that, you know, at any point, any shot could be his last. It could have been over there.
Eight.
Just looking back, I think John's problems actually there stemmed from the shot before, where he knew the four reds were open but covering each other, and he never got the right angle on the black to nudge into them.
So as you can see, this red should extend the final into at least one more frame. Higgins did have a chance there. In the end, he played that plant, didn't get close to it. Still in a strong position, but doesn't want this going 9-7, 9-8, none of that. Because then the pressure really will descend. All Joe O'Connor can try and do is just turn the screw as much as possible.
22.
He likes a double, doesn't he? And that removes any doubt about who's winning this frame.
Six. Joe O'Connor, 26 in a frame.
So Joe O'Connor pulls one back. He's still a long way behind, but the final not done yet. John Higgins still one away at 9-5. John Higgins then still needing one for victory. It was 9-4, 9-5 now. Did have a chance to get it one there.
Front 15.
No reason to panic, of course,
right.
but equally, he wouldn't be human if somewhere in his mind he wasn't thinking about, you know, some of these finals that he didn't close out, and even not even finals. I mean, at the Masters this year, 5-1 up to Neil Robertson, lost 6-5. All of that is somewhere in the background. Got to try and stay as positive as he can, and he has been today. Joe O'Connor, though, he's so determined. We know that. Still, he will have the belief that he can get back into this and, who knows, maybe pull off a great comeback.
Brilliant. Deserves a good nudge.
What?
It's one of those shots. It's not the most natural shot to nothing. It's quite a little bit thick in contact. You'd want it to be about a half ball. So they're very hard pots. Cue ball doesn't necessarily head its way back to the bulk end.
Six.
Yeah, I mean, it's early in the frame. It's hard to know whether this is going to be a chance. But if he could pot this red, which is not easy, find himself on a colour to get the reds open, he could be en route.
Well, second part of that is get everything out of the way, which he did.
7.
Yeah, I mean, he'd love to have just been a bit further up the table there so he could go straight into the bunch from the blue. It's a bit straight looking for me for that. I don't think the angle is there. And as you can see, the reds are all sort of solidly jammed together. Playing off the cushion. It's hard to generate the pace. He's going to have to really hit this. Yeah, tough shot to play. Hard to think really the reds were going to spread that much anyway, had he hit them. Didn't think he'd hit the pink on the way through. I think he believed that he would just sidestep the pink. Well, he needs something good to happen here. Can he get him behind the green? And as you can see, he might be able to swerve it. got a good view of it. It's quite a big swerve, but it's hard to think the red won't go very close to the pot if he hits it. Oh, I don't know if it is in. Just about. Yes, he's not on the black very nicely, but it is problem solved of being in a snooker with a ball over a pocket.
Yes, there's no rule that you have to win the clinching frame with a century. You know, if it takes 7 visits, that'll do, John.
Yellow ball. John Higgins, 1.
Not the most threatening safety shot ever, was it? There, he tried to get the cue ball behind something and failed. Left it in a wide open space.
Well, what about this? What a shot.
Yeah, I mean, this is deeply unpleasant, isn't it, to be there? You know, if your first cushion is the bolt cushion here, for instance, then you know you're in a lot of trouble. He might be able to get to the left cushion. It's not so much that difficult to hit a red, but you've got no real control. There's a huge area to hit one, but as to where they finished it, it's hard to think you could really know anything about it. Playing with a little left-hand side as well. It's gone behind that red. It's a good effort to hit it, but he's left plenty.
Corner 4.
I mean, it's hard to think that he'd have these put back, really. I don't know how much better it can be than where the balls are now.
One thing he certainly proved today is what a fiendish layer of snookers he is. Well, it is going back.
Well, I hope from his point of view that John doesn't lay up to that red this time, because he's on a ball there. I can't think that that many players would have had those balls replaced.
Yeah.
It's a devilishly difficult snooker, I accept that part. Still been left something. But really, I think the previous chance was a little bit better than this one. Well, he's got a red, but it sends the cue ball up towards the bulk end of the table. A rare miss. You've not misjudged many of those over the last week. Never got particularly close to that one.
What?
Another opening for John Higgins, looking for one more frame, remember, to get this one Doesn't seem much, does it? But you can add on 4 years to that. That's how long it's been since he won a ranking title. 4 years and a day, in fact. February the 28th, 2021. The Players' Championship. He played unbelievable snooker that week.
John Higgins 1.
It's too early to
4.
get a little concerned, isn't it? Because he's got a very big lead. But I'm very surprised that he would screw it off there. It looked quite straight, the angle. We have kind of been here before with John. And it doesn't quite feel as if we're at that stage yet where we would say it, but all of a sudden John looking a little bit stern-faced, isn't he? Well, targeting him behind the green again here around the 4 cushions. Joe O'Connor. Let's see how close he gets to playing the shot correctly. Might not be quite hard enough. Good line, I thought. Well, looking for that same line, but he got too much of it there and veered off. Didn't get the cue ball back very far at all. It's a bit of a concern for Higgins, unless he can get behind the green, which he has done. The red went over the pocket, that was the worry. We've kind of been here before, haven't we? Although there's no way he can swerve this one. And this time it's Joe O'Connor in behind there. I wonder how he feels now, whether... I know it's easy to say it, but, you know, when John was in that snooker, he refused the red. He took a different red on, but... maybe he could have just tried to get the frame one there, because now he's in even more trouble than John was in, I think. Trying to get laying on the top red here. Delicate little shot just to hit that top red above the pink. He's done well, I think. Cue ball's come a bit off to the left. Has he left anything on?
Well, while John Higgins looks at this, just to say, cycling fans, if you're tuning in now for the O Gran Camino, live coverage is getting underway now on TNT Sports 6 and Discovery Plus. So TNT Sports 6 and Discovery Plus, and we will pick up the live cycling after the snooker.
Wasn't particularly threatening there from Higgins, was it? It's been an odd little exchanges, isn't it? There's been some great snookers behaved on the green and a few other shots that have been miles short of it where they're intended to go. Well, what a time to miscue, really. I mean, he took a long time over it, and it was a miscue, quite a dramatic one, wasn't it? And, you know, he hasn't miscued once this week. It was potentially very damaging, very costly. Reds over the pockets, high-value colours, not that easy to get on, but what a time for that.
Well, if that proves to be his last shot, and it's a big if, then that's a horrible sort of memory to take from this final for Joe O'Connor.
John played that very safely, didn't he? Just playing up for the green. He knew that there's no way in the world he wouldn't be on the green. He knew the other way would stay close to the pocket. And of course the black can be got on, and it would be very handy to get the black back on its own spot here. If he could move the red above the black by maybe playing on it, and then land on the black, he would be absolutely in business here. And he needs one more frame. And it could be at this visit, because it is an encouraging chance.
Four.
Well, that doesn't look bad. He was very purposefully walking round, wasn't he, to
Okay.
look at the next shot. He's asking for the cue ball to be cleaned. As I said, if he could get onto the black, that really could be the point where this match is about to be won.
Well, just while this cue ball is clean, just a reminder again, if you are tuning in for the live cycling, it's on TNT Sports 6 and Discovery Plus, and when the snooker is finished, it will be on this channel.
Five.
Cue ball went further up the table than he expected, but he always had the backup red close to the right corner.
12.
Now, can he drag this in for the black? I don't know. It's not the most simple shot to control. I mean, it's the dream shot here if he could hold. You know, there's always a chance you would get stuck behind a red. But on the black, that's where all the action is right now, around the black spot. He's played it. This is the issue. You can always get stuck behind a ball, but he's all right there. Get to centre ball striking. 2 or 3 red blacks, he'll be starting to pull away in the frame, and then he can think about ending this 4-year drought since he won a ranking event.
Yes, and he has scored well today. He's had 9 half-centuries, a half-century in every frame he's won. Can he summon one more from somewhere?
Trent. Trent 1.
Yeah, so getting those 2 red split is what he wants. And is he on that right-hand red? Because it will really
28.
almost be a game changer, because the other red next to it will be on as well. It's a bit tight, isn't he? He's having a good hard look at them. Can get through to it. Can he avoid the other red, though, in screwing back? There's your answer. No.
29.
John, the game doesn't get any easier. A loud sigh there. End of break.
I think the shot before, where he wanted a bit of an angle on that bottom red. He wanted the cue balls up against the cushion. Maybe he would try and put one of these colours away from its spot. I said earlier, you know, you can't really get balls safe, but actually that's not in a very good position if you're chasing a deficit of 35 points. So that is in John's favour. It's very much second prize from getting the match one, of course. Yeah, it looked close from an early point, that one, didn't it, to going in off?
.35 in the frame. O'Connor, looking at the table, will, I'm sure, feel that Higgins needs realistically one more chance to get it won.
Played it well. Good shape on that safety shot round the angles. John might be just having a glance at the potting angle here, whether he will go for it or not. Not the easiest way to be sure of the cue ball going safe. Maybe he's playing thin off the other side of it. He's got all the moves, hasn't he, John Higgins? He can recognise danger even in this position. Now all of a sudden the balls are not quite as appealingly placed as they were earlier. Again, all that will play into John's hands because he has a lead of 35. It's hard to think that you could, win the frame in one visit from here. Whereas earlier the balls were quite well spread. But usually when you get a long bout of safety, this happens.
One. Three.
Well, red, yellow, and then this slightly awkward little red to middle. It's not simple. Got to land on a colour as well again. Not made much of this chance. Don't know if he can get through to the black. It must be tight. I think he must be able to.
Eleven.
Well, at least he split the two reds below the black there in potting it, which kind of gives him some chance of taking this break further. Well played. Got underneath the cue ball there and held it. So,
12.
how far towards getting the frame one can he go with this visit? Obviously the green was put there earlier by John as insurance, which might come to his rescue, I suppose. Lovely shot. Nice cannon. Things are starting to happen now at last in this frame for Joe O'Connor.
19. Twenty. Twenty-seven.
Maybe a little further up would have been better here. If he was going to try and move the red. The cue ball, probably a ball's width further up the table. It's a natural now. I think it's kind of more likely to try and play behind it from the top side to put it in the right corner.
He's done well to get this far. I mean, he made a key clearance, didn't he, against Neil Robertson in that Scottish Open semi-final back in 2022. Of course, Higgins now will need the green as well in this frame. Yeah, with regards to that green ball, you know, he's been doubling shots, hasn't he? Quite a lot. He's almost as good as the man he's playing at those, John Higgins. So I think he's already given that some thought. Looking 3 shots ahead, in the brown and then the yellow and then possible double on the green to solve that little puzzle. Well, I know one thing, if he'd have taken a still picture of where the balls were when he came to the table, you know, it would not have been a likely frame-winning break. There's the green that Higgins, as we know, put safe earlier.
Fourth.
So I think the whole frame's been building up to probably the shot after this one. Possible double to left middle, he's good at them. But I think sometimes when the object ball is so close to the cushion, they're a little bit more difficult. You don't know if they're going to kind of trap under the cushion. So he's got a good chance, but by no means a certainty. Brilliant shot and well received. Didn't ever look like missing it, really. And it's only brown and blue. This is certainly make John Higgins feel slightly uncomfortable in his chair, the way that this is all turning out. This is the frame he already should have won, quite honestly.
Well, where the balls were and with the lead he had,
49.
did John Higgins really think he wouldn't get another shot? What a break. It's been one of the breaks of the week, this. And Joe O'Connor needs the blue to pull a frame back. Incredible. What a contribution. Joe O'Connor once again underlining his reputation for being one of the tough men of the sport. What a break that is from Joe O'Connor. Absolutely superb to extend the final into at least one more frame. John Higgins still not over the line. O'Connor has won the last two, so it's 9-6.
I'm 16. Joe O'Connor to break.
John Higgins still on the edge here. He's still got a good lead, but I'm sure he's feeling slightly uncomfortable. And one more frame is all he needs. He did all the good work to get so far in front at 9-4. He's lost the last two frames. Well, that really is opening the balls up, and whoever pots the first red here could be in with a good chance. And if it's Joe O'Connor, it'd be coolly trying to roll this in, holding for the black, and he could be in business. Well, I expected him to get it, quite honestly, and because it's not an easy shot. Didn't really threaten the pocket in the end. Oh, that one on a different table on a different day might not have gone in. Hit the bottom jaw and fell in. And that's what John needed, something like that. He's in first again.
Eight.
Slightly annoyance of John Higgins, but that he's a little close to the side cushion for this. It does look a natural to play on the black to the same pocket, but he's got to make sure a red doesn't get in the way. A couple of reds sitting in places that could be troublesome. Yeah, he's just managed to avoid that. I mean, this is just what he needed after the last frame, an early in of this description. well steered through a small gap. What a chance for John Higgins. What a chance.
60. 17.
And I was thinking that Reds and Blacks were going to be the order of the day here, but of course he has got a very pressing engagement with winning this tournament. I don't think he'll be playing on the black now. And it really is. I mean, you could not see the balls better placed. There's nothing safe.
One more break, isn't it? It's one more good contribution. He's had plenty today. Every frame he's won, he's had at least a half century. See the absolute focus in those eyes.
Second. Yeah.
I'm sure this was not the red he tried to be on, he played on. But that's the one he's going to have to pot next.
John Higgins said recently that a long career in snooker,
31.
eventually it takes a bit of your soul. But in sport, there's always another tournament, there's always another match, there's always another opportunity to turn around your fortunes. It's not like he'd gone off the radar in the last few years, just wasn't winning tournaments.
Yeah, and I suppose for John, you know, losing in finals was never going to cheer him up, was it? You know,
38.
for some that would be a real positive. Some players on the tour, understandably.
Yeah, he was so used to winning for so many years that it was a novelty to lose those close finals, 5 in a row. And as you get older, you must start to wonder, you know, can I
39.
still do it? Well, he's doing it here.
For 6. For 7. $52.
Yes, he didn't hit them very hard, those reds, did he? But, you know, he's now got the one he's very close to. He might have been hoping for sort of nicer cueing for the red to right middle, but he's right over a ball for that. There's an element of difficulty about this, with all that equipment on your cue, with these balls so close together. This, you can misjudge these. You know, his eye line is a long way away from the two balls. Got to be very careful on this shot. Slightly lost the cue ball, but not much. He's on the brink of winning something here. He's got to pop this black and just get the right cannon, and he's almost there.
But he saw Joe O'Connor clear up from a much more difficult position than this, didn't he? So there's a lot of pressure on this next shot.
Well, that's in. That's. But he's enraged by the positional side of it, that he's gone wrong. He had to put everything into the pot. The cannon was all well and good. He's not on the red that he expected to be on. So then all of a sudden, he's still got another bridge to cross, as you would say. Unbelievable, isn't it? 60-point lead seems a lot, but the ball's absolutely still wonderfully placed.
It's amazing. I mean, he gets on a red nicely, he wins, doesn't he? But the game is not easy. He knows that as much as anybody. So many ways it can trip you up. Nicely done. Nicely recovered.
61.
It's a fabulous shot, Dave, isn't it? And the control of the cue ball was everything there. The pot was one thing, and it was difficult, but it's so easy for the cue ball to end up underneath the black cushion there. He could not have played it better. So he must be feeling very excited here.
Well, it's two more pots that he needs. What a moment for John Higgins. Player we were so used to seeing winning titles. He lost 5 finals in a row in a 4-year period.
68.
Some other close matches as well. It must have been very difficult. And as you get older, people start to write you off. But Joe O'Connor wouldn't have done that coming in today. He knew he was up against an all-time great who needs one more pot to win this final.
Yeah, I mean, Joe's obviously very disappointed. He's played brilliantly. He's even played very well today, I think. He's going to be fine as a player. I mean, what a match player he is. Joe O'Connor. Here is the consummate match player, and the drought is over. He must be feeling fantastic out there potting these balls.
Well, he's won world titles, 4 of them, many other big tournaments. Right now, this is going to feel like one of the biggest of them all.
I just wonder if he pots this red, there'll be any emotion, because this is where it really is over when this goes in. There's no way back.
77.
Well, he's keeping it in for now. I'd be interested to see what happens after the final, if he can keep his emotions in check. If ever the old maxim, form is temporary, class is permanent, applied to anyone, it's the man at the table here. Proving again why he is an all-time great.
85.
Joe O'Connor has played superbly in the tournament. He made a slow start to the final. The first frame actually went away from him on the black, and obviously was a long way behind. He made that great break in the last frame. But John Higgins, look at the way he's winning this. One visit.
92.
Going to be a century, it would seem, to bring the curtain down on the World Open. Every credit. What a finish.
100.
Yeah, what a terrific way to win. And he came to the table with the balls in wonderful positions. That's a pity, but what a man John Higgins is.
A special player, a great champion. And once again, John Higgins is in the winner's enclosure. 4 years and a day since he won ranking title number 31. He finally gets his hands on a 32nd. So the formalities out of the way, as David Vine would say, it's wages time now. He's going to get his cheque and his trophy. And of course he's back in the top 8, and the first prize kind of wraps up the rankings for the next year or so, really, doesn't it? The top 16 has been shored up again. There's Jason Ferguson, WPBSA chairman.